Okay, Mr. Kanye West. Now, it was about a couple weeks ago, Kanye West came out and said something very interesting. Because at this particular time, Drake was, Kendrick had the better of Drake for that one particular song, right? So what happened was, it's like Kanye came out and said Kendrick is not even in the top 10 of all time. Even top 10, I believe, alive, right? But let's see this, because Kanye is a very interesting character. Dude, he acts as if he doesn't know what he's talking about, but yet he's very strategic and very articulate and very intellectual. But people don't realize that, because he'll come out and say something outrageous at that particular time, because Kendrick is deemed the rap king of the world at that particular time. And then he comes out and say Kendrick's not even top 10. And then he goes on to even give his top 12, leaving Kendrick out of the equation, right? So let's see how crazy or genius Kanye West is with that statement. So he said Kendrick's not even top 12 of all time. Okay? A lot of people are going to argue it, but let's see who Kanye West picked. First, he picked himself. Now, when I look at Kendrick's catalog and Kanye's catalog, it's no comparison. You know what I mean? Take away Kanye's antics and, his desire for public appeal and desire for public appreciation and infatuation of himself. He definitely has a way better catalog than Kendrick. Meaning to say that besides Not Like Us, the average person would not know any other Kendrick song. Maybe one other song, but you could go back from Kanye's first album up until now, you could sing a couple Kanye's albums from front to end, word for word. So he doesn't put Kendrick in front of him, and that's accurate. Okay, the next person he had was, Drake. Now, even though I guess the public perception, Kendrick won that battle, if we're talking about global appeal, if we're talking about the ability to go to an international country and everybody still knows your words, nobody globally compares to Drake right now, period, for the last 10 years. So Kendrick, definitely that's not the case as well too. So we got 2 for 2 for Kanye. Lil Wayne's been rapping since 16 years old. He has platinum records since 16 years old. Definitely Kendrick, catalog-wise, if both of them were not alive right now, Kendrick's catalog is not better than Lil Wayne. Jay-Z, I won't even argue with that. You know what I mean? Like Jay-Z, probably the best rapper, period. You know what I mean? Arguably, Biggie, maybe Pac, Jay-Z's in there of all time. So you can't compare Kendrick to Jay-Z. Tupac. Tupac's a legend himself. You know what I mean? Tupac, right now, Tupac's not even alive and you still can't compare Kendrick with Tupac. 50 Cent, like 10 million records, his first album. Another maybe 7, his second album. Almost 20 million records internationally. Kendrick cannot even dream of something like that, you know what I mean? So, Eminem, you can't compare Kendrick with Eminem. LL Cool J, the man that originated the terminology, the GOAT. Run DMC from 85, 4 decades of consistency. You definitely cannot compare Kendrick with LL Cool J. Run DMC? Run DMC. Legends of all legends. There's nothing I can say Run DMC has ever done besides greatness, right? Nas? Now, everybody always talks about Kendrick is a very lyrical, articulate, intellectual, conscious rapper, but, when it comes to lyricism, can you compare Kendrick with Nas? No. Not at all. Not at all. Nas has a song called Rewind. He raps backwards. You know what I mean? He raps backwards and it makes sense. Kendrick does not have that kind of artistic, lyrical ability. Rakim. Without Rakim, there's none of these guys, right? So now let me bring back the same statement. Kendrick, It's not even top 10 of all time. Not even top 12. And when you start looking at this list and Kanye's statements, it's kind of hard to even put Kendrick of all time in the top 20. You know what I mean? And the thing about Kendrick is that a lot of people don't realize that whenever Kendrick makes a buzz or a splash back into the rap game, he is always attached to himself to some type of beef. Meaning to say that if Kendrick did not have Drake, if Drake did not retaliate to Kendrick's attack or to Kendrick's battle, to Kendrick's invitation to battle, would Kendrick still be Kendrick? Because Kendrick had this album that he had right now. Nobody cared. Kendrick he hasn't been rapping for a couple of years. People forgot about him, you know? I don't even think Kendrick was more active than J. Cole or somebody like that, right? So if Drake said to himself, I'm not gonna respond back to Kendrick, would Kendrick be as big as he is right now? Would Kendrick be doing the Super Bowl? No, he wouldn't be. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to disrespect Kendrick in terms of who he is in this rap game, but I'm also definitely not going to disrespect the forefathers and the original legends of hip-hop. You know what I mean? These guys been doing it consistently for decades upon decades upon decades. You got Nas a couple of decades. You got LL Cool J 4 decades. He just put out another album rapping with a younger generation and still holding his own. So Kanye's not crazy. You know what I mean? People always think Kanye's crazy, but I think that's the art of what Kanye's trying to do. Kanye makes people think he's crazy. You know what I mean? By making somebody think you're crazy, you lower your standards towards him. You know what I mean? And then what happens that when he comes back with actual factual, it's like a shock value. It's almost like a photographer that takes a beautiful human being and puts him in a rugged environment like the back alley or like the hood, like graffiti wall or something like that. You have like a beat up sofa in the middle of the alleyway, and then you put this made up like this pretty beautiful structure on it. What happens that the focus of that structure stands out big time. Now, if you take this beautiful structure and you put it behind another beautiful structure, meaning to say that you get a pretty girl and you put her amongst 10 other pretty girls, is she as pretty anymore? But at the end of the day, Kanye understands how to keep his name inside the minds of every single person. And as he does that, he picks and chooses when he's about to become the crazy Kanye and the intellectual Kanye. And it's like a game to him. You know what I mean? And everybody plays into that role. Kanye right now will be the most talked about human being by him saying one single phrase. One single phrase. He doesn't even have to release an album. No albums, no nothing, no clothing line, no Yeezys. He just says one outrageous thing that he knows is gonna tickle the belief system of individuals. You know what I mean? So whenever you see an article or whenever you see anything front page news from Kanye, the first thing you have to ask yourself is he setting us up again? Because he's been doing this for 10, 20 years and nobody caught on. Nobody caught on. And then he goes into hiding because he wants people to forget how outrageous what he was saying before. He want people to forget how crazy the comments or statements that he made, only because he's preparing for something more crazy. You know what I mean? Kanye could sell out a whole entire stadium, not even releasing one single song. Not having he won't have the number one song in the world, but yet whenever media or urban media pops up, everybody's always going to be talking about Kanye. And I think a lot of people should learn from Kanye. You know what I mean? The art of like he's almost like he mastered the art of manipulation, right? And it's not his fault. I think sometimes it's our fault in terms of he plays with everybody's mind to the point that he benefits, and then he keeps his name inside, it's circulating in everybody's brain, and he keeps on toying with you and toying with you and toying with you. And whenever he realizes that, okay, I need to be relevant again, what he does, he picks somebody that is relevant and he makes a statement about them, an outrageous statement, and then we fall for it once again. All of a sudden now, Kanye's on the front page of the news again. So we have to take heed, and we have to take, we have to pretty much understand that, hey, music, hip hop, really anything. Right now, it's not really who has the best song right now. It's not really who has the best talent. It's who's smart enough to manipulate the algorithm.